Hey guys, Kurgan here, and recently I've been playing a bit of Blade and Soul again. The odd arena matches here and there, nothing too serious, but it did get me thinking, what would I change with the game to make it better? Because Blade and Soul has some really great aspects to it, but at the same time there are some really shitty aspects to it, which I feel is driving a lot of players away. I managed to narrow it down to 3 things, and that's what I'm going to share with you in this video. So one of the first things that I would change with the game is equalizing Hungmoon levels and skills in PvP. One of the main issues that I have with the game, and I know a lot of people have this as well, is that being purely a PvPer in this game puts you at a large disadvantage over people who also PvE. Now this is because PvP gives a very small amount of experience, and experience is required for Hungmoon levels, which give you additional skill points. On top of that, Hungmoon skills are a thing where you get additional abilities that are usually very powerful, and gaining these abilities through PvP takes a much longer time than you do through PvE. So what this means is that as a PvPer, you are forced to choose between either doing content which you don't particularly enjoy, which is the PvE, just for experience and to stay competitive, or you simply play at a disadvantage, and kind of both options are a shitty situation. On top of this, the situation is even worse for new players or returning players. They may not have any Hungmoon levels at all, so the deficit between them and a player who has been playing since release and doing all their dailies will be huge. The amount of skill points, it will simply be unfair for them to fight someone who has like Hungmoon 10. And that can really put off people coming back or trying the game, which is always a bad thing. To fix this, I feel like Blade and Soul should adopt the same system that Guild Wars 2 has for when you go into PvP, everyone has the same amount of skill points and everyone has every ability unlocked. This way you do not affect the PvE progression. You can leave that alone, because I know there are lots of people who enjoy that sort of progression. But PvPers can have a much more fun and fair and competitive feeling system. And yeah, I mean, it even helps out like playing ults. I mean, you can make an ult and just immediately go into PvP with it and have fun with it and try different playstyles. I think that can only be a good thing. The second change I would make is catch-up mechanics. Now, the current rate at which new content is being released, it makes it very hard for new players, returning players, and ults to get anywhere near the required level of gear for this new content. And instead, you're kind of just left forever far behind. And I think that really needs to be fixed, and NCSoft has to give a lot more help than they currently are. I know that there is currently an event which helps you upgrade this weapon, but it's only temporary, and this sort of thing should be permanent. Personally, I think that there should be some easy quest line which you get once hitting level cap that just gives you all the weapons and accessories for 400 AP at least. Now 400 AP will allow you to get started with the level 50 purple dungeons and the dailies which they give you, and then you can start earning gold and start upgrading your weapons from 400 AP, and it makes it a lot easier, because at the moment you really need to invest a lot of gold and time just to be able to even start doing the level 50 content, and you have to trawl your way through level 45 dungeons and just content which people really aren't doing anymore, and it's really not a very fun experience, and that just has to be changed. This solution also doesn't take away from the people who have worked long and hard on their gear and have let's say 600 AP. They will still be a lot stronger than most people, but on top of that, they will also have new people to play with. It's really a win-win situation. The third and final change that I would make is class balance in arena PvP, and specifically the matchup balance. Now, overall class balance is far from perfect, but the worst offender is some of the matchups. Some of the matchups are just flat out unfair. Now, examples of this is Blade Master versus Summoner, Warlock versus Force Master, Destroyer versus Warlock, Assassin versus KFM. Some of these are just ridiculous, and if both opponents are equally skilled, the stronger class just always wins, and it sucks. A lot of the time it just makes the game feel like rock, paper, scissors, and when the majority of the PvP is 1v1s, that is not something you want. So I'd really I would take individual matchups and give classes buffs and nerfs depending on those matchups, not just looking at the overall power of the class. For example, the matchup that I know the best is Blade Master versus Summoner. Now, Blade Masters have two problems with this matchup. One is that when you are aerialing the Summoner can still use his cat to CC you. I would probably remove that ability for the Summoner to do. Secondly, Summoners have 3 block breaks, and one of those block breaks is the grapple, and it just means that the Blade Master's main defensive ability, which is his block, is pretty much useless, okay? And I would remove Summoner's ability to grapple off block, because I feel that would make it a lot more fair. I might be wrong about this. I might be wrong about the changes that are required to make the matchup easier, but the point still stands, is that there shouldn't be matchups which are completely one-sided, and these matchups need to be removed from the game. They need to be made fair. You need to be able to go into an arena match and think you have a fair and good chance of winning if you play it properly. It shouldn't be decided before the match even starts. So that concludes my list of 3 changes that I would make to the game. Now, let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with any of my points. Also, let me know if you think I've missed something out that you would change. I will read the comments and I will reply to things that I think I can add to. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.